So hi guys, today we're going to have a look at one of the Protectorate's nastiest Warcasters, the High Executioner Reznik. So if you want to take a quick look under the close cam with me, we can see the main body of Reznik, spiky and huge. He comes of course on his medium-sized base, so he's quite a big guy in a massive suit of armour and covered in spikes. So if you have a look there, you can see that he's got that big spiked skirt. Here we have his folded up rack. Now, people might know that's basically what the Reznik does when he destroys a living model. He puts them up on a rack, giving you additional focus by generating pain through these racks and things. Here's his sword, quite a nasty bit of work there, a massive big bit of kit. His other hand, which has a proclamation of some sort. On it, then you can do a wee bit, maybe a freehand with Menoth rules or something. And finally, his couple of smokestacks that go on the back of his armor. Here is his card, so we'll have a quick look at that before I take it away. You can see Mat 7's the big one that stands out there. A little look at his spells and his feat. Oh, and of course the back of the card there, just to see all the stuff that he has. But basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to take him away, get the ink on him, and then we can have a quick chat about all the things that he does when we come back after the break. So hi guys, we're back and we've got our High Executioner Reznik all inked up and ready to go. So if you want to have a quick look under the close cam with me, you'll see that we've got him assembled there. He's got quite a few little spiky bits all over him. Which of course help when painting because it means you can dry brush it quite easily, or you could just use a wash on it to bring out some of those details. He's covered in chains and he's got massive armour, as well as his huge rack that's on its back, and his sword, Confessor. Also, of course, he's got a nice little flat area on his proclamation there, which of course you can write your good old Menoth says die on it or something, just to add that little bit of flavour to it. But what's he like in the game? Well, awesome, I think is the best way to describe him, because he's fantastically good. If you want to check out just his stats and things there, he's got an armour of 17, he's got a defence of 14, his command's a bit low, albeit of course, but he can cause terror because he's such a monster. His rat's only 4, his mat's 7, strength 7, speed 5, so he's not entirely quick, but then again he can keep up with all the rest of the Menoth warjacks and things that all move 5 as well. His sword, Confessor, has reach, it's a magical weapon and does a power 14, so it's a monstrous weapon. There's a quick look at the spells that he has, which we'll come on to in a wee minute, and his feat. I think it's worthwhile just discussing his feat first, just because it's monstrous. I'll read it for you. It's Judgment Day. Enemy models currently in Reznik's control area lose all focus and fury points. That's the same as being hit by the Disruptor Bolt from Eris. While in Reznik's control area, enemy models cannot upkeep spells or be allocated focus, and those casting spells suffer the fire continuous effect. Judgment Day lasts for 1 round. So not only is he going to disrupt enemy Warcasters, he also stops them upkeeping spells. If they do try to cast a spell, he hits them with fire. So basically it's like a massive Disruptor Bolt from Eris with extra added fire and misery. So it's a great wee feat. Of course, it can be got round. There are ways to get round it. Jack Marshals and things aren't going to worry too much because they don't generate focus. Solos that cast spells, of course, are going to get set on fire. The problem, of course, is that you can't upkeep spells. It doesn't stop them casting them. So they can still cast spells as long as they want to suffer the fire effect. So, I mean, anything that's immune to fire or something like that is probably not going to worry too much. You can still cast those spells and still try and get some damage onto the big man here. But other than that, I mean, he's such a monster that it's scary. I was always a player of the Grand Exemplar, Krios, whenever I played Menoth. But I mean, this guy here is fantastic as well. He does much of the same things, only he likes a lot more warjacks than Krios does. Krios takes warjacks, of course, but tends to hog all his focus, whereas Reznik can spend it and give Jax some really good abilities. We'll go quickly through his abilities that he has, and then we'll go through his spells. So Reznik himself has Excruciator. If he boxes or kills a warrior model, once per turn, he can turn that warrior model into a rack. Now, the racks are solos for the Protectorate, who, of course, generate focus. So, effectively, he strings them up on a big, one of these big racks that he carries around his back, and starts to torture them for focus points. He can then take the focus points off the rack every turn to boost his own supply. He has Witch Hound, so models in his battle group, so that's all his warjacks and stuff, in his control area that are hit by enemy magic attacks get to make a move, and then make an attack against whoever it was cast spells. So basically, what we're saying is don't cast spells against his warjacks if for any reason you think that they're going to be able to get to you and smash you, because that's what they're going to do. He lets them do it. Other than that, he has his sword Confessor, which has Purgation. Purgation means that any enemy that has an upkeep spell on their unit or their model, he does an extra die of damage. That's not a boost, that's an extra die of damage. So things like Arcane Shield, Blur, all that sort of stuff, that's going to cause him to do extra damage to you. So it's attack and damage. So he not only does more damage, he hits you more easily as well. So going to his spells then. His spells, he has Engine of Destruction. Anyone who uses Fiora in the Protectorate of Menoth will know how brilliant Engine of Destruction is. It adds on +2 to his speed, +4 to his strength, +4 to his mat for 1 round. It just makes him fantastic. That's his mat is going to go up to 11. Yeah, 11. So he's got mat 11 under that when he casts that spell. His strength he's going to do par 18 with his sword. And if you have any upkeep spells on you, he adds another die of damage onto that. And he gets +2 speed, so his speed goes up to 7. It's monstrous. And what does it cost him? 2 focus. Brilliant. It can't be upkept, of course, but that's beside the point. I mean, the fact is that when he's going to use that, he's going to be stomping in and smashing whatever he gets his sword near. He's got Hex Blast, which is a spell that he can cast that has an AoE, but it also removes upkeep spells whenever it hits. So, you know, it's not of huge use when you consider the fact that his sword does an extra attack die and an extra damage die against anything that has an upkeep on it. Basically, Hex Blast is an AoE that he might want to use, perhaps to remove something with stealth or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. I couldn't see it being used very often. He's got Ignite. So that boosts up his model or unit. They get +2 to their melee attack rolls and damage rolls, and they gain critical fire on their attacks. So it's a nice just a wee buff that he can give to a unit or to a model. It only costs 2 and he can upkeep it. It's alright. I would prefer probably to give focus that he has to Warjacks, or to cast his next spell, which I think is fantastic because I'm a Mercenaries player, and every time I see this spell I get all warm and fuzzy. It's called Iron Aggression. Iron Aggression can be cast onto one of his Warjacks. It costs 3 points and it can be upkept. The Warjack can charge, slam, or trample without having to spend focus on it. It also gets boosted melee attack rolls to all of its melee attack rolls. It's just a great spell. If you can get anything that has Thresher on it, or has multiple attacks, or does anything like that has multiple type attack opportunities, it's just a great spell. It's a fantastic spell. What he would use it on, I don't know offhand. Probably something like Avatar. Doesn't say it has to be in his battle group, so he can cast it on the Avatar. That means that the Avatar who generates its own focus doesn't have to spend the focus on running or charging or anything like that. It just has to charge in and spend all its focus doing damage, because all its attack rolls will be boosted. Fantastic. The last one then is Perdition. Perdition is when the enemy model is damaged by Perdition. Immediately after the attack is resolved, one Warjack in this model's battle group that is currently in the model's control area can make a full advance towards the nearest enemy model. Just makes his battle group just that little bit faster then. It's not an upkeep, so it's just at the range damage. It does par 10. It's got a range of 10. It's not great, but what it can do is if you want to take something, if you want to engage one of the enemy to take it out of the battle, stop it doing any of its, say, perhaps ranged attacks or something else that it's doing, casting spells or something ridiculous, then just blast perdition at it and let your one of your warjacks walk up to it and engage it in hand to hand. So there you go, guys. What do you think? Reznik, is he any good? He looks like an absolute monster, and like I say, as a guy who used to play Grand Exemplar Krios all the time, I think I might go back and play the odd game with Protectorate of Menoth just to use this guy, just to try out all these wee tricks, because they look really good, and it's an excuse to field the Avatar of Menoth with Iron Aggression on it, which I think is fantastic. Drop me some comments below, guys. Tell me how good you think this guy is, or do you just think the Protectorate of Menoth are completely broken and shouldn't be allowed to have stuff as good as this all the time?